Hey folks, welcome back to Real Southern Outdoors and welcome to 2024. May God bless you and your family. May 2024 be a great year for you. Now it is winter time and it is cold outside. And even here in the south, we've had some nights down in the 20s. It's been cold here today. A lot of people don't like to be out fishing in this time of the year. Now, me personally, I don't care. I'll fish rain, sleet, snow. I don't care. But if I had a boat that was running right now, I'd be out fishing. But that's all right. A lot of people don't like to be out fishing this time of year. So this time of year, we need to think about maintenance. You think about maintenance on your boat. You think about maintenance on your truck. We need to think about maintenance on our fishing gear. Right now is a good time to be going through this. Get everything ready to go so when fishing time comes for you, you're ready to get out there. Now, the first thing I like to do, and we'll break this down in different videos. We won't try to do it all in one. I'm going to talk about fishing reels right now. First thing I like to do is take my reel off my rod. I like to strip all the old line off of it. And you can see I still got some on here, but that's backing line. And I'll get into that when we talk about putting line on a reel and everything. And matter of fact, I got a tip for you that I've never seen anybody do. I've watched several videos through the past, watching, and I've never noticed anybody giving this tip out. It's not really that big of a secret, but I don't know why people don't do it. And I don't even see anybody talking about it. But I'm going to give you a tip on that, and I'm going to show you something that'll help you out. But anyway, we'll go over that in that video. Be watching that video. We'll go over rods. I'll show you how to check your rods out and all. But right now we're talking about reels. Take your reel off your rod, strip your old line off of it. And then the next thing I like to do, I like to give my reel a good once over. I like to look at it. I like to make sure everything's intact. There's no missing parts, no loose screws. Everything that's supposed to be there is there. I like to check my winding, the little worm gear and everything. Make sure all this and the eyelet here, make sure all that is working proper. It's not shifting, moving around. I have seen them broke. I had to fix one where this front plate maybe had hit another reel in the boat or something, hit a bad wave or something, and it hit another reel or something, and it broke it, and it let that little guide rod shift over because this plastic piece is what holds that guide rod in, and that it was dropping out. And when you would spin it, when the eyelet would get over here, it would drop, and it wouldn't cast right. It just didn't feel right, and I put it up and then had to find out and fix it. But anyway, what you want to do, give that reel a good once over, check everything out, make sure everything's working like it should. Then you need to make sure it's clean. If you got any grease and grime or whatever, dirt, whatever, you need to make sure you clean that reel really good. I never let my reels get dirty. I always keep my reels clean through the year. I never wait till end of the year to try to do that. I clean my stuff as I go fishing when I come back in. It's a little more work, but it saves you reels, and it saves you a lot of clean time through the year. Next thing I want to do, I like to start by pulling this side cover off. I'll lay it down. I'll pull my spool out, lay it over there, and we're going to start lubing things. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to use just reel butter. Now, these products I'm using, nobody pays me to use it. At the time of this video, I've never been contacted by any of these products. Lubes, rod and reels, reel butter, or anything like that. I got the lubes greased. I just use it because it worked for me. You can use whatever works for you, but I do recommend these products if you don't have one that you use, or if you try it, you should like it. It's been holding up good for me for years. If you use something else, let me know. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what you use. But anyhow, this reel butter, you can pick it up about any tackle shop or something like that. We're going to use oil on the bearings, and we're going to use grease on gears. So remember that. But first thing I like to do, I'll use this camera here, maybe you can see, there is a bearing right inside your cap here, when you take this side plate off, I should say. And I'm going to put just a drop right there on that bearing, and on the inside of it. And on my spool here, I have a bearing as well. So I will inspect those bearings, I'll look at them. And like I say, I do this periodically through the year. I'm going to put just a drop of oil on that. Now, right down in here, where the spool shaft goes in, some people do and some people don't, but I like to drop a little drop of oil right in there for that bearing. Then I'm going to put my spool back in place, make sure it's seated in. I'm going to put my side plate back on, snap it in place, and I'm going to spin that reel around, and I'm going to let that oil kind of spread out in there and get saturated in there. Okay, the next thing I want to do, I want to take this little cover off right here, your spool tensioner. I want to take that off because there's a bearing, the other side of that bearing in there. And I just want to put, you know, just a little drop of oil there. And I like to put just a little drop of oil right on that cap there from a tensioner. And get that back around that before you drag. Get it out of the way so you can kind of get this back on here a little easier. Get it lined up. Run that down a little bit. Okay, now the worm gear in here. I said we'll put grease on gears and we put oil on bearings. This is the one place that I use just oil. You can put grease in here, but if you put grease in here, make sure it is a very little amount. The reason for that is because this, as you can see, this worm gear is open. And it is right in the front where that line's coming in. Any water is coming in there. Any dirt's coming in there. It's laying in the boat. Dust, pollen, anything and everything is going to stick to that grease that comes around in contact with it. And it will cake up on you, and it will make a mess. You will have to take it out and clean it up if you pack it with grease. So I don't like to use grease in there. Some guys use a thicker oil, but I still use my real butter. And I put just a drop. Let's see if I can get this on this view with this camera. I put just a drop over here. And that little guide pin right there, I'll put a little bit on it there. I'll roll to the other side. I come right back in here. I put just a drop to, you know, kind of lube that worm gear up good and that guide. And I'm going to spin this handle around. I'm going to let it work that oil in right in there. Now, people say, well, I'd rather have the grease. Well, put the grease in there. You know, that's your option. This is just what I do. It's worked for me for years. My reels have held up a long time, and I never have to clean that worm gear out. I never get a buildup in there, I should say. I always clean my reels, but I usually just oil them. And this is something you can keep in the boat. And if you get out there, you get caught in the rain, you drop a rod in the water and pull it back out. It's as easy as put a couple drops in there, spin it over, get it going again. You know, you can lube anything on this reel really quick. Now, there's your main lube and everything right there. Everything on this reel, there's your basic putting oil on. Now, we got one more section here. Now, these luge reels, not all of them, but a lot of these luge reels, they have a screw right here, and they have a little service port. And you could take a screwdriver here, and you can take this screw out. Do this in an area where you won't lose these little screws. Set them to the side. Take that little port there out. Of course, trying to do a video, it does not want to jump right out for me. But here's where you'll see is your you'll see the gears right through that port. Now, here's what they recommend. Most manufacturers, I know lube, but most manufacturers, they recommend just putting enough grease on this thing, just a light coat, and you only want to do it for like a quarter turn. So you can put your handle up like that, down, whatever, but get it where you know where it's about a quarter turn. And I like to take my grease, and I like to put just a little bit. You know what? It works better if you take the cap off. But I like to put just a little bit of grease there on that gear. And I like to, well, get it to stick. There we go. I like to put just a little grease in right there, about a quarter turn or so. You don't want a lot, because a little bit of that grease will go a long way. I put my plug back in here. Put that screw back in here. Tighten that up. Don't over tighten that because it is plastic. We'll put that cap back on there so I can fight with it again sometime. Then what I want to do, I want to spin this reel around. I want to work that grease all the way around through there. Now it's going to, I know you just put it on just a little bit of that gear, but I promise you it's going to work itself around through there. It'll get in all those gears, because a lot of people put too much grease. If you got one that you have to take apart, they'll take a lot of grease on there, and then they'll say, well, you know, I was fishing this thing and all of a sudden it got where it ain't working right, you know. You'll find your drag don't go to working right. You'll lose part of your drag. It's not as strong. And what happens is that grease gets in there and it starts coming off the gear teeth and working around, getting in there around the disc for the drag, you know, and it'll cake up in there. And if you don't have friction for that drag, it's not going to work. So if you got a lot of grease in there between it and it don't grab, you know, your drag's not going to work. So keep that in mind. There's a little tip and tricks that'll help you. Like I say, I'll be doing some more videos showing you how to check your rods, and we'll do different things. So give me some comments. Let me know what you think, what you use, and what else you want to see. Let me know what else you want to see. Well, 2024, I want to do a lot of things that will help you guys, whether you're just getting started or you've been fishing for a while. If I can help you, or you can turn me on to something that, you know, I can learn, and then I can share it with others and help others learn. That's what I want this channel to do. So I hope these tips will help you. Don't forget, like and subscribe to the channel. Share my channel so I can help someone else. And like I always say, until next time, may God bless you, and we'll catch you later.